Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahliel. I am here today to talk about the full moon in Gemini that we are going to have on December 4th. I did this video yesterday, but I accidentally deleted it. So, probably it had a purpose. This full moon is going to be given in the degree 13 with 3 minutes of Gemini. Every mutable sign are going to feel this a lot: Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, of course, Gemini. And people with planets close to this mathematical degree, because of the configuration that I'm going to explain in a minute, and because all of us we have these signs in our natal chart. So we came to this point to bear the fruit of the cycle that initiated in May with the new moon in this sign. And it is good to remember that that new moon in Gemini happened with Saturn and Neptune still in Aries. In fact, the sun and the moon created a sextile with them. So that beginning was the initiation for opportunities for a construction of something new, to align ourselves with visions and experiences that weren't transited before. And this full moon right now, it is going to show us how much coherence we have established regarding that beginning. It is also this great push to face both an internal and external truth. This means that there is going to be a need of discerning, of assuming if those visions that we have built during the last 6 months are truly related with the soul, or are responding in some way to self-deceit or an illusion. This could also show us, this lunation could also show us how we are putting in practice our ideas, if they are only staying in the mental plane, or we are doing something with them, how we are educating our mind, if we are redirecting our thoughts when they are emerging from these programmings, if we believe our limited narratives, how much we practice what we are saying, how we are communicating too. And for many people, it is not only about facing a truth, but also having to communicate it. So one of the principal aspects with Sun in Sagittarius, with the Sun in Sagittarius, as it couldn't be another way with a full moon in Gemini, Sun and Moon are creating an exact square with the lunar nodes, North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo, which are the mathematical points that mark the direction, the evolutionary direction. The North Node and the South Node is indicating the point of cleansing. So this is a great mutable square or cosmic cross. It is a configuration full of tensions. It is all conformed by tensions. And this indicates that in order to culminate the cycle and to move forward to the next phase, there are decisions, there are words that we need to say, conversations that we need to establish, and that cannot be evaded anymore. Also, the moon is in a opposition and the sun in a conjunction with Venus in Sagittarius. Therefore, we can connect with a desire. Perhaps it's a great desire, something that we feel quite expansive, or that sometimes with Venus in Sagittarius could seem to be far away or at a distance. To reach that could be a purpose, a vision that of our own, or a vision that we are sharing with another person in a society or other kind of relationships. So to get into the alignment with that manifestation, there is a level of honesty that for many people it is not going to be comfortable, that is necessary to recognize. It is not comfortable because squares with nodes imply that there is something familiar, could be a habit of perception or situations that are participating of our daily lives, that we have to let go of in order to move forward to that something new. And the closeness of that manifestation doesn't depend, of course, on the sky. It depends on what each one of us has to go through in our individual path and what we have integrated until this point. For example, if a person connects with the desire of, bonding with another one in a romantic relationship, let's say, to put this example, in a relationship that can actually, the parties feel abundant emotionally, that can be reciprocal, where there is loving forms of honesty, which could be a quality of Venus in Sagittarius, but the person is already in a relationship that is not representing anything of that, and even if the person continues to invest energy in there, it is not working. So that person in this case has to accept that that experience is preventing him or her from approaching that genuine desire. I mean, all the experiences that we are going through are going to teach us something, but if there are situations that are not contributing, and once we have already recognized the learning, we keep sustaining with the hope, we keep sustaining them with the hope that they are going to change in a magical way, that responds to a resistance and to a denial of reality that is the shadow of Sagittarius, like wanting to see with optimism something that is not having a purpose anymore. Let's put another example, totally different. Other person could be very connected to his or her purpose. Perhaps the person has to implement something new, like going out there and communicate and using his or her voice. And let's say that the person didn't do that because there are conditionings very linked with this tension with the South Node in Virgo that are preventing him or her, like the fear of making a mistake, or failure, of not accomplishing an ideal of perfection, excessive focus in details that actually don't have importance, and different excuses that could also activate the shadow of Gemini, like overthinking a situation but not attaining any kind of resolution, staying in the mind, or changing constantly of opinion. Like I am going to do that, but later I won't do it, but later I will do it. So opening many focus at the same time could also be the shadow of Gemini, that are operating as a distraction and a dispersion of the energy, or focusing on something that has nothing to do with what we truly need to do right now. Like, I have to make this decision, communicating this thing, but I'm investing my time in other thing as a form of evasion. And an expression very related with this and with the South Node in Virgo could be taking care of other people to not deal with our own experience. And tensions with these nodes could also imply manifestations in physical and mental health, because they are going to show us what we need to adjust with practicality in the matter, and also surrendering to the process, which is the North Node in Pisces. Like I can trust that this is the more loving thing that I can do with myself and with the others right now. Even if we don't have control, even if we don't know how things are going to be developed after, or even if apparently the ego doesn't feel the immediate benefit, the certainty is intuitive. This is very important. Other challenge of this configuration could be like this inner questioning that is causing like a conflict or an opposition. Perhaps that thing that we want to do that is coming right now from a desire of the soul, others are not perceiving that as something correct, or we believe that they are going to judge us, or our own mental structures are creating the blockage. Let's put an example in here. It is like, I want to leave this career or this degree and to dedicate myself to other thing, but there is a fear to break with a conception of reality that gave security before. But staying right there makes life losing its grace and losing sense, which is something very related with Sagittarius. When we are annulling our will of doing new things, or to move forward in things that actually have purpose, because parts of us are limiting ourselves, could also be the focus in everything that we think that is wrong. A mind that is in excess of negativity is other form of self-sabotage. So all of that are retiring us the capacity of playing, of exploration with curiosity, and to continue learning without fear of questioning what we thought until this point, what we have thought. This is the energy of Gemini in light, the will of knowing more, of learning, of the immediate things, of the environment, of the experiences. And also it is about to take life with more like humor, of laughing, even of the things that could be negative. Obviously, this is not cynicism or mocking others. But instead of that, instead of being this energy that is flexible and with, I don't know the word right now in English, it could turn in its shadow in overthinking till the mental collapse. I am saying this because Mercury, that is becoming direct this November 29th, tomorrow, in the degree 20 of Scorpio, by that moment is going to be in orb of its last square with Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Therefore, there is something, this is the third one, there is something that is already very, very clear that we know that we have to liberate. Could be a fear, could be the attachment that create resistance to let go of something, could be the obsessive focus that aren't helping, could be understanding that those things that we do want to do with intensity or we do want to say require right now to free ourselves from perceptions or forms of inhabiting reality that aren't actually related to the authenticity of the soul. At the same time, Mercury reactivates the grand trine of water one more time. We had a lot of them, with Saturn already direct because today is becoming direct, and Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. So there is something here that we can do from this different angle, different perspective, from a more emotional maturity, whether because we are understanding what we don't want to to have participation of our lives, and we are aware of how we need to retire or limit our energy because it's the healthiest thing. But also the constructions that we do want to consolidate and to make grow, the energy that requires too. Decisions with responsibility over oneself, and therefore that they could impact positively in what surrounds us. Later, we have Mars in Sagittarius in a square that is quite close with Saturn in Pisces. It is not exact, but quite close, and more amplified with Neptune that is retrograde stationary also in Pisces. We are going to expand on this later. So everything, to make a summary, everything that is being born from an insistence, from denials of reality, from an idealization, of a direction in which we don't need to continue anymore, fanatisms or closed dogmas could bring conflictive experiences or blockages, restrictive situations that could be very frustrating, but they are teaching us how to develop maturity. Also, this square could represent the challenge that we need to transit to recognize how much we are truly connecting with that inner certainty, how much we are trusting in the divine that is manifested through us, and how willing we are to sustain ourselves in what has coherence with all of that to create the experiences that the soul came here to create, to bear the dreams in the matter, or to unfold our potentials for the greatest good. It is not only for the individual good. It is not only for the good of the ego. So Mars also does a quincunx with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. The challenges of transcendence had to do a lot with moving out from spaces or familiar dynamics that are not nourishing anymore, but also makes a trine with Chiron retrograde in Aries. So this is a fluid aspect, and this tells us that it's a moment to take the learnings of perhaps painful experiences of the past, the times that we experimented invalidation or the opposition to express ourselves, to be who we are, and to incarnate right now with courage the direction that we recognize as part of our growth. In the collective level, this is the typical lunation where information is coming to light, where truths are being revealed or other perspectives of the truth. And because it is occurring in a square with the nodes Pisces Virgo, much of this information could have to do with situations that put in evidence the obsolete forms in which the healthcare system is operating, that don't respond to the rebalance of the mind or the body. It is actually a system that it is much more functional, having ill people with fear and dependent. We could also talk about ideological things, ideological matters and situations that are proposing many points of view, even very opposite. But the important thing is that everything has a root, and there is where we need to, put the look. This includes, of course, questioning everything that we have believed until this point, but also not letting ourselves to be carried away by the confusion of the excess of information. Well, I'm going to close this video here. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.